Hey everybody, my name is James and I'm a Renaissance guy, and that means I like to do a lot of different things. Today I've got another building project I'm doing, maybe a little bit unorthodox, but what I am doing is I'm going to be building an awning off of the side of my shed. I'm not building an awning over the door, which is what most people would do, and I'm not building an awning over a window. The reason I'm building an awning over the side is for two reasons. One, I want to have a south-facing roof that I can put my solar panels on. I've got one solar panel sitting right over here towards the ground, and the problem with that is I've got some trees over there that are blocking the sun from hitting that solar panel and charging it really well. So I need to get that up higher, and the roof on my shed is not south-facing. So that's part one. Reason number one for that awning. Reason number two is I have got some metal compost barrels that I built and are in a previous video, and right now they are just sitting out in the elements, and I would love to have an awning that I can put them under so that they don't get rained on. They are rusting a bit because they are made of metal, and so having that awning will be, I think, pretty helpful for that. So those are the two reasons I'm building this awning. So let's see how I build it. Hey chickens. Now, before we start, I want to point out where I'm going to be attaching it to. So you might be able to see I've got a spot where my wires go up through into my shed from my solar panels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually mount the roof just above that. You see this piece going across the top? That piece is actually hiding two pieces of 2x4 in the framing behind it. And so that's going to be a great spot to anchor the awning because I can anchor it into those two 2x4s to make it more structurally sound. And then I'm going to have some angle 2x4s coming off of the awning to the side here where I've got some 2x4s still in the structure hiding behind it. So I think I want the awning to more or less match the pitch of the roof. And so, oh, my child is calling me. Yes? I can in a little bit. Give me a minute. All right, the occupational hazards of parenthood. So what I did is I put a board up to there and I leveled it off and marked on this board. I don't know if you can see the line there, but I did a pencil line for what the angle of the roof is on this board, and I'm just going to use that as kind of a jig for figuring out what the actual pitch is on the miter saw for cutting my pieces. So we're off to the races. Looks like it's about 16 degrees. Okay, so here is the main frame made out of 2x4s. You can see right there I've got about a 16-degree angle cut on these spanners. They are 16-inch on center, kind of standard standard construction specification. And I have had to notch the corners just because of the way things line up on the shed. So after building the frame, I built two of these pieces here. A piece that goes straight down the side, and then an angled piece that comes off of it. And the outside of the awning will rest there, and the back edge of the awning will sit on top of those 2x4s there. And I should say everything so far is screwed together with 3-inch deck screws. So this piece is attached to the back of that piece with deck screws, and this is attached to the sides with deck screws. When I bring the frame out here that'll go across the top of all of this, I'm going to rough it into place with some deck screws along here, but I've also got 4 3.5-inch 5/16 lag screws that I'm going to use to anchor it there, just to make sure it's good and sturdy. So let's see how this fits together. Okay, so here we have the frame attached. Get a better look at the side here. Next step is to put the plywood on top and then to shingle it. So that's where we are so far. And I still need to put my lag screws in there. Yep. So, at the end of the first day, I've got the structure done. I've got my 3/4-inch plywood lid.
That's cool.
Thank you. It is screwed down. The lid is screwed down with 2-inch deck screws. And we'll do the shingles next, but not today. All right, it's day 2. Time to do a little bit of shingling. And it's a little cooler out, so I got my sweater on. And we'll see how it goes. And I have got some old shingles left over from the actual shed that I'm going to use as the lower level on the front edge of the roof, and then use that bundle of shingles for the rest of it, and hopefully a single bundle will be enough. I guess we will find out. And then I'm going to use this piece here as something of a flashing, not really flashing, more like a little rain catcher thing at the back edge. There's some weirdness at the top of the roof with that 2x4 trim piece around the top that intersects at this point, but then there's a gap behind it, and it's just weird. So I'm just going to put a little rain catcher, not unlike that one above the door, rather than a traditional flashing. And since this is just an awning over some composters, I think that'll be sufficient. I'm not worried about roof leaks or anything like that. All right, time to shingle this thing. At the end of day 2, here's where I stand. Didn't get as far as I wanted to today. I got interrupted a couple times and only got about an hour to work on it today, so hopefully I'll finish it after one more day. Given the type of shingles I bought, I don't think I needed to put that underlayer under this bottom row because this one doesn't have any gaps in it, but didn't realize that until I opened the package, so oh well. There's an extra layer on the bottom that's unnecessary, but that's all right. Okay, hopefully we'll finish this up tomorrow. Okay, y'all, it's day 3 of what probably could have been a one-day project, but it's what happens when you've got stuff going on. Let's see if we can knock it out today. I'll mention I'm just using these roofing nails, 7/8 of an inch, so they don't poke through the bottom of the 3/4 inch plywood with the 1/8 of an inch shingle on top. Should get most of the way through. I bet it'll work well. We'll find out, I guess, in the long term. Okay, so here's where we're at the moment, and a couple of things. I don't have this top layer attached yet. I've just got the layer below it. Something to note, just as I've been going, I've been alternating which side the short piece is attached on. So short piece there, long full length piece there, short piece there, full length piece there, just so that the gap between them doesn't line up. And then another thing to note is I've only got one shingle left after this in my pile, and so I'm actually going to end it here, even though ideally if this was on my house and it was visible, and this is not really visible to anybody where it is, I'd want to have this shingling up one more layer there. It would look nicer. I would do some kind of official nice flashing there, but it's the side of a shed, so I'm not too worried about it, and nobody's actually able to see this from this angle, so it's fine right here the way it is. So I'm gonna nail these down along here, and then I've got that little trough thing that I'm going to attach on either end here, and then I'm going to cut at this 2x, and I'm going to fold it back towards the siding inside of this 2x. So I'll do all that, and then we'll take a look at how things look. Okay, so I forgot about the nails, and I realized that if I make this the last row of shingles, that there's going to be exposed nails. So I decided to use some more of the leftover shingles from the main roof, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it like that, and the nails are going to go underneath where the little trough thing is going to go, and that'll somewhat protect the nail holes. So that's what I'm going to do, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so here's how this turned out, and I'm not actually very happy with it. I was hoping that this trough would bend a little easier. My plan was on the inside of this 2x4 to be able to bend it back so that it was closer to flush with the siding. It didn't bend very well, and basically it bent almost not at all, and so I actually had to end up nailing it down in the bottom to get it to bend flush to the roof in those spots so water would run down it. And so I still have the same problem I would have had with the nails on the shingles. But it's just an awning over a shed. It's not over my house. It's not even over the main shed. So I think it'll be fine. At the very least, this will prevent some of the water from bouncing off of this onto the siding, hopefully. And it's still underneath the shingles on the roof, which are hanging over it about an inch. So I think it'll be fine. Hoping it'll be fine. And so now I'm going to put one of my solar panels up here and we will call it done. And there we are. One 4-foot by 8-foot awning for solar panels on top. And I'll be moving my metal composters, not that one, but my metal ones, underneath it. And I think that'll serve its purpose pretty well. And here's how it looks from the front. Still needs some paint, but there's no need to put that in this video. If you enjoyed this, if you like this sort of thing, go ahead and subscribe. If you think there's something I should have done differently, and I'm certain there are things I should have done differently, go ahead and leave a comment for the folks who will watch. I will say this would have been easier and safer with some additional help, particularly when putting the frame up and putting the lid on top. But I did not have access to help, so I did it myself. But to be safe, if you're going to do something like this, I highly recommend you get a second or even a third adult to assist you. Thanks for watching, Renaissance Guy. Have a great day.